It's the truth about parenting. Something needs to be real for us. The truth is in the raw things that people don't talk about. This journey is not for the weak. Welcome to the Mama Jack podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Mama Jack podcast. I have a very special guest today, the mama of the Mama Jack. Say hi, Mom.
Yay!
The camera's up here.
Hi, everybody.
So,
Aunt Edna.
on my last episode, I talked about my PTSD from my car accident and how that affected me with parenting along the road. I thought it would be an interesting episode to bring my mother in and have her talk about her feelings going through that whole situation herself, because, of course, she is my mother. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Debbie. I'm her mother.
So, what's the first thing you remember from the night of my car accident?
Sitting at dinner with my friend, panicked because someone came in and said there was a car accident on the street. And immediately I called Timmy to see if you had met him yet. And when you didn't, something inside me said, uh-oh, Jackie was in that car accident on that street. And I was panicking. I was running in circles like in the restaurant, not knowing what to do. And then we waited a little while, and that's when your dad called and said Jackie was in a car accident. She's headed to Mercy Hospital.
So how long was it from when you heard there was a car accident
It's
to
probably
that
a good hour.
Okay.
And I was a mess. I'm telling you, I was running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
Because you just knew.
Yeah, in the
on that
restaurant. And I ran outside to get in my car, and that's when my girlfriend said, "You're not driving. You get in my car."
Yeah.
And that's when the shock hit. That's when I was shivering and shaking. I was freezing cold. Poor friend had to turn her heater on full blast.
Which she was always hot.
Yes.
Like always hot. So her being cold.
Yes, it was definitely a
weird.
shock thing. I
Yeah.
know it was. And then I was so upset because the people that came in and said there was a car accident there told us the car was on fire and the people had to have been burnt. So that's when I called the hospital, and they usually don't give you information on the phone. And I don't remember if I threatened the person that answered the phone or if I cried. But they said to me, "I just saw your daughter. She is not burned." Mm-hmm. So that calmed me down a little bit. And she is lucid and she is talking.
Okay.
So that's what settled me down for the half-hour ride down to Pittsburgh.
So when you got to the hospital, did they take you like
Into
back?
a room.
Okay. And did they wait? Did you like dad meet you there? What
Yes.
happened?
Dad and Timmy were there. Amanda were there already. Mm-hmm. And me and Sue got there, and they took us into a room. We waited for a couple minutes. Then the doctors came in and talked to us and said, you know, that you were okay. They think you did something with your hips and that the other girl was in the other hospital. She was in critical condition. I guess she got knocked out. Stephanie get knocked out?
Yeah, she got knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah, and that they had to, it was a while before they got you out of the car. Mm-hmm. They had to cut you out of the vehicle. But that kind of calmed us down too. Then a little bit later, they came back, like maybe 15 minutes, and said, "You can see her now." That's when I was really afraid, because I didn't know what I'd see. Mm-hmm. And that's when I came in the room and you started crying and saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "What are you sorry for? It wasn't your fault. It was an accident. You're okay." And Mom, they cut off my clothes and that was my favorite jacket. So that's what you were worried about at that time. I didn't think you realized how serious it was. I don't think I did either. Mm-hmm. You know? And I don't think I really did till I saw the pictures of you laying in bed sick. Mm-hmm. You know? when I realized a lot of stuff could happen, could have happened, could still happen.
Well, I was bleeding internally the
Yes.
whole first week, right?
Yes.
That's why they
Yes.
didn't do surgery on me.
Yes.
So what was going through your head with that? Because
Well,
what
number
did they
one,
say?
they really didn't say that to us.
Yeah.
They just said that you needed some days to recuperate before they did the surgery on your hip. We did not realize you were bleeding internally till we started seeing the blood coming, like them saying, what blood type is she? And then we saw the blood coming and the blood coming. And then I thought, uh-oh, what's going on here? Someone not tell me? I don't remember them ever telling me that.
Really?
I don't.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I do not remember them telling me that you were bleeding internally. I might have asked.
Yeah. Do you know where that was from?
Blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
That was stomach and, because you slammed up against, I guess, the dashboard.
Yeah, I don't.
So it was chest, it was stomach, it was your back.
Okay.
So it was all of that.
Okay. Because I thought maybe since my hip bone went through that it was my like femoral artery that was leaking.
They really didn't say that. I don't think I ever found that out, what it was. But after about a week, then you started getting a little color back in your face. So,
I remember getting the blood because everybody made fun of me because I said I could smell it.
yeah, you can
And
smell it.
They were like, you can't smell the blood. And I was like,
Yes,
I'm
you
freezing
can.
and I can smell it.
You can smell it.
And everyone was making fun of me.
But everybody loved you on that floor. I don't know if you were entertaining or what.
Well, I was the only one under the age of like
That's
60,
true.
right?
But then you also have to remember the first day you were there, your dad spent the night with you and let me go home so I could have someone get my car and bring it home and come home and do what I had to do and then go back down. And then I never left. I only left, 10, 12 days later when Amanda decided to spend the night and the fire alarm went off in the middle of the night. She thought she had to throw you over her shoulders and run you out of the hospital.
So when you were, let's go back to the car ride to the hospital.
Okay.
What was going through your head at that time? Like, what were the thoughts that you were having?
I'm going to lose my daughter. That was the thoughts. That's probably why I was in shock. And then Sue's family called, and right away Tiffany and Kevin said, "Is she dead?" So that kind of threw us for a loop too.
Yeah.
So that's what I seriously thought. Because I know even in a car accident, it can turn serious though, even though it doesn't look serious at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought. I was not preparing myself for that. I couldn't ever do that. And I was not going to lose a child. But I was so happy you were at Mercy because I know they were really good, in this area for that kind of trauma. So it was horrible driving down there. It seemed like forever when it's 25 minutes from the Parkway?
Well, that is a long time. When
It is, especially that I waited at least an hour after I heard about the accident. Because by the time, and then Kevin called and says helicopters are here.
Yeah.
So that made it even worse because they life flighted you guys,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that was crazy.
Yeah. What about me going through the surgeries? Was there any worry there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the first one especially, because they told us they weren't sure they could fix it. They had to go in and actually see what was going on. But I had my trust in this surgeon. And then I wasn't worried that anything would happen to you during surgery. But I couldn't wait till they finally said it's done and she's waking up. And that's when you woke up singing to all the old people in the recovery room. And they were all excited that someone was singing to them in the recovery room. Yeah.
When we came home, like, in your opinion, what was worse, the hospital stay or when we actually came back?
I think the hospital stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot. I mean, it was a lot easier at home. I know you had that hospital bed and you hated it. So your dad brought your bed downstairs. Definitely home was a lot better, except when we tried to put you in the shower and it was all hot water and we were screaming and your brother had to run in and check.
Yes. Yes. That was,
Yeah, trauma.
yes. Let me check this.
But I mean, you were in the hospital for a long time.
Yeah.
19 days, wasn't it? Maybe even 21.
It was a little shy of a month. I know
Yeah.
that because they let me go home. So they said, because it was around my birthday
Yeah.
and Halloween, and they let me come home with the hospital bed, and a nurse came every day, right?
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah. And then you had to do the shots. They wanted me to do them, but I couldn't do them. So you said, I'll do them. So you gave yourself the blood
Oh my
thinning
God,
shots. Yeah.
That was like, I mean, whatever. I got used to it.
Yeah, you do.
It just sucked because you have to go an inch around your belly button. And
Yeah.
over time, when you're doing it every day, those bruises
Yes.
start to become what you have to put.
Yeah,
Like,
the shot in.
Yes. And holy crap. So after I recovered and everything, it was what, like 6 months, 7 months.
Oh, yeah, minimum.
I decided I wanted to go to California. So, did you have any like post-traumatic stress from this whole thing happening? Like, were you ever afraid of me driving or being with a friend
Oh,
driving
yeah.
or going out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I dealt with that even when you were out in California. Being by yourself. I actually didn't want to leave you in California. Because remember I told you, you don't belong here after we saw
Yes.
that guy crossing the street and the cops swearing at him. Said, you're coming back home with me. You're not staying here.
Yeah. Yeah. How many years did that last for you, do you think?
Oh. You know, I think I'm going to say until you graduated your school out there and you were finding a job. And then I realized it's time to let it go. Now, was I terrified with Amanda and Timmy back home too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went through my head constantly.
Yeah. Do you think anybody else in the family was affected by that too?
Oh, your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your dad was a mess. He was a mess for a long time. Definitely. He thought the same. Well, did he not talk about that at your wedding?
Yeah.
And that was how many years later? Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was very traumatized with that. And again, I didn't really get to see him because I was with you all day long at the hospital. He was here trying to take care of things. So I didn't really get a chance to talk him through it.
Yeah.
Neither of us did at that time.
Yeah. Well, I remember Dad staying at the hospital and I yelled at the nurses, "Can you get him a bed?"
No, you yelled at them for me.
Oh, that was for you?
Yeah. Yeah, you told the nurse, "Can you get my mom a bed?" And the guy came and brought me a mattress and blankets and pillows. Yeah, that was me.
That's funny. Well, yeah, I mean, so I had the obvious PTSD symptoms, right? At first, where like cars scared me or like fires or if
Yeah.
I saw a car accident or if somebody drove too fast. Like, did you realize whenever I started having my panic attacks as I got older that could have been connected to my post-traumatic
No.
stress?
No, not at all. You know when I think I might have realized it? When we were at the attorney's office and you broke out into tears in the middle of them questioning you. I think then I realized, this accident must have some kind of effect on her. I really didn't put two and two together for a while, a long while.
Well, they threw pictures of me down.
Right.
And I was not expecting that at
Right.
all. And so I like
Well,
had
that
never seen,
traumatized me all over again, too, because you could see how white you were and
Yeah.
how sick you were. And
I had never seen those pictures.
Yeah.
Like nobody ever showed them to me. So I was, yeah. I mean, and did you talk to Stephanie before I talked to Stephanie? Did you go
Yeah.
visit her?
she got home first.
Yeah.
I visited her at home.
Okay.
But I did talk to her mom every day pretty much while she was in the hospital and you were in the hospital. Or her mom called me every day and vice versa. But yeah, I did see Stephanie before you saw Stephanie. a while, because it was a while before we could get you to Stephanie's to see her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay. So, like, when I was in my 20s and I finally, like, calmed down a little bit and I started having the crazy panic attacks and they linked that back to PTSD, was that shocking to you?
no, not at all. Well, but another thing I could think of too, a year later, because that was during your homecoming, a year after you graduated, the next year at homecoming always came back in my mind for a couple years after that. Always that October came back in my mind. Yeah, it was crazy. Maybe I did have a little bit of stress in that inside me from that I didn't really realize that's what it was all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Most likely. I mean, if your kid goes through it, that's like, I don't know what I would do if my kids ever have to go through something like that. I pray that they never have to, but it's like one of those things that you never imagine having, like, you see everybody else go through it maybe, and you're like, whoa,
Doesn't
that's
happen
sad.
to you. Yeah, it doesn't happen to you.
So recently, when I had my mental breakdown and the post-traumatic stress syndrome or disorder came up again, was that shocking to you?
No.
It just stuck in the back of my head forever. As much as I tried to get rid of it. So my therapist explained it to me, and she said, a part of your brain is forever changed whenever you have post-traumatic stress disorder. And the rational thinking part sometimes gets missed whenever you're in a situation. So you go into fight or flight like that. And it could be like a sound, a smell, something like dim lighting, like whatever reminds you of it, and you don't even know. But she explained that to me, like, your brain is forever changed after post-traumatic stress syndrome, or post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's like kind of something I'll have to deal with my whole life, I guess. Now I've been a lot better being on meds.
But you learn how to deal with it eventually.
Well, and I can recognize what it is.
Yes.
So when I know my like mental state now and what's normal, and I'm also on drugs. That's what I always say. That helps me.
Yeah.
But it honestly does, because it slows down that process. So I
Yeah.
can be like,
Yeah.
And I haven't had, I mean, a panic attack. I don't even know. Like, I almost had one a couple weeks ago, but it was like, I don't even know if that's what it was. It was weird.
Yeah.
But that's been like,
It could just be tension or whatever just got to you at that moment.
so did anything ever pop up with you like in another way? Like if you were watching a movie and you saw like a kid get hurt or something like
No,
that? Like,
I don't think it did. I don't think it did. I think I tried to put it completely out of my mind. So I don't think it did.
okay.
No, I definitely tried to block that.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you have any advice for a parent going through a similar situation?
That's a tough one. How could you give advice to someone who's going to naturally just fall apart when something like that happens? You can't keep your cool. I mean, you can't stop at being nervous and sick and upset. And no, I really no. I mean, I just have to say at that point, take it a minute at a time. You know, just don't jump to conclusions, which is really tough to do. But you can't do that. Because that's, I think, what traumatized me even more. You know, thinking, oh my God, she's burnt up. You know, that is tough, Jackie. I don't know that you could give any advice to parents on if that situation arises. Let's just hope it never arises in their life.
Yeah. Yeah. So during my car accident, they said a passerby stopped
Right.
and saw it was the volunteer firefighter,
It was a
right?
firefighter, yes.
Saw
He
the
just
car was
happened to
on
be
fire.
there.
He didn't have a fire extinguisher, but then another car stopped and
Right.
had one.
Right.
Now, what would you say to that person if you could share words with them?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being so considerate and caring about other people. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that first fireman and the person that stopped after him saved you guys' life from burning up in that car.
Yeah, I agree. It's like
Definitely.
an angel that I never
Yes.
met. I probably never
I
will
don't
meet.
even know who it was. Nobody ever told me who it was. The only people we knew about is the ambulance service that cut you out of the car.
Yeah.
You know, that we later went and thanked. No, I have no clue who that person was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I hope he had a wonderful life because he deserved it for doing that.
Yeah, right? It's like some people do things like that one simple thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know what's interesting from now on? Like, I think I'll always have a mini fire extinguisher in the car. And I know that sounds so weird. People don't think of it.
Yeah,
like
you don't.
race drivers do. People with like crazy fast cars do. But even like electrical cars, they say catch on fire and they'll burn in
Yeah.
like minutes. So it's like something that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, it could save someone else's life, even your own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Do you have anything else to add to all of this? Any thoughts? Any?
Yeah, keep your kids close. And don't yell at them too much. Because you'll be sorry for it if something like this happens.
Is that what you thought of? Damn, I yelled at her right before she left.
No, but I didn't yell at you. You just told me you were going out and
Yeah.
meeting your brother. And when you didn't meet your brother and his friends, then I got really concerned. So,
Okay. Well, thank you for this interview.
you're welcome, though. How much you going to pay me?
I pay you with my love,
Yeah,
mother.
your children, my
Yes.
grandchildren.
Yes, of course, the grandbabies. Okay, well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, bye.
Welcome to the end of another episode of the Mama Jack Real Raw Parenting Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Remember, parenting is a journey filled with ups and downs, and it's okay to make mistakes along the way. The Mama Jack Podcast is here to provide you with support, guidance, and real-life stories from fellow parents who are navigating the challenges of raising children. If you have any questions, topics you'd like me to cover, or stories you'd like to share, please reach out to me. I love hearing from my listeners and incorporating your experiences into future episodes. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Podpage, all under the Mama Jack, TheMamaJac. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you're not alone in this journey, and together we can create a supportive community of real, raw parents. Stay tuned for more episodes filled with laughter, tears, and everything in between. Until next time, keep being the amazing parent that you are.